What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How are you gamers feeling? We are back another awesome Saturday. We had a ton of gaming news this week. Catch up here with us at the Shop Podcast. How are you beautiful gamers doing in the chat right now? Make sure you hit the like button on your way in. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. We got a brand new guest, first time guest, so please show them some shop love in the chat as well. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. We do this thing every single week, so sit back, kick your feet up, get your favorite beverage, man. We're going in this weekend. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of things to unpack. We like to have a lot of fun. So if you're first time here, once again, do all of that cool stuff I just said like 30 seconds ago. Subscribe, hit the like button. We greatly appreciate you guys, man. We're going to dive right into here to our panel as well as our special guest, man. And once again, just to get started here, our special guest is K Med from the Backlog Podcast. I'm a huge fan of the Backlog Podcast. All of the information is down in the description below, so please, guys, go show them some love. The Twitter's down there, the link tree's down there. I made sure I did that, K Man, so they don't have no excuse. They got to go check you guys out. Show them some love over there, man. We greatly appreciate you guys doing that. But how you doing, K Man? Man, first time on the shop. We were talking a little bit pre-game, but what you guys got going on over there at Backlog, and how you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the invite. I came out of the blue, and I was excited to come on a podcast and talk games. I've seen you guys around the community, and I was like, well, hell yeah, this sounds like a good time on a Saturday. So yeah, man, this Backlog Chronicles, right? I got invited on there as the third member. Probably about 8 months ago now. I think we're up to episode 63, 64, somewhere around there. And it's kind of a platform agnostic, gaming news podcast that we host on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and we do YouTube live. Originally was an audio only podcast, but then we went on YouTube live, and the chat is so much fun, and that's why we kind of stuck with that. But yeah, we just cover just all the news that happens during the week, and it's a lot of fun. We shoot the shit with the guys, and those are my bros. We have a WhatsApp that we talk during the week, and we play games together on Xbox and PlayStation, and just have a good time, man. We just love to talk games and try to sift through all the BS that's out
there. We got to do it, man. But I greatly appreciate you being here, man. Huge fan of yours. Like I said before, everybody in chat, once again, please do me a favor. Go check their content out. Go check Mr. K Man out. I put the Twitter link down there as well. So please go show them some love and support. Once again, glad to have you here, brother. First time, man, but probably won't be the last time. You guys, you know how we do here on the shop, man. No problem at all, brother. But let's get to my three amigos. And by the way, shout out to our guy Stag. Appreciate you. Hopefully you jump in chat here, man, in a little while. But shout out to Stag. But let's get to my other three amigos here, man. We got Centurion 1307. What's going on, bro? How you doing this week, bro?
Oh man, I'm doing good. It's Saturday, and there has been actually some stuff to talk about. There's been some highs, there's been some lows, but what better group to talk it all out with? And it's really nice to meet you, sir. First time actually engaging with you, so I'm really excited about tonight's show. We're gonna have some fun.
Awesome, man. Shout out to you as well, Centurion. Appreciate you, man. Every week, super consistent. Appreciate you, man. Mr. Steve Harvey, Pong Harvey. How you doing, brother? What's going on with you, man?
Man, what a great Saturday. Let me tell you. First of all, as you guys always know, get to end the night with you, my brothers here, PTK, Centurion, Fuzzy, plus got the incredible K-Med here. Finally get to do a show with him. Awesome to be finally doing this with you, sir. Like what you guys do over at the Backlog. And it's great to get around new people and to hear new thoughts all the time. But you know what? It's just amazing to watch this community come together. So shout out. I know we're going to touch on it later, but quick shout out. I'm going to use my intro to all the gamers, to anybody in the community that decided to speak up and out against what Sony was trying to pull with Horizon. And we got it done. Gamers win again. This is why you don't ever let anybody tell you not to criticize any company that's trying to do wrong, ever. your voices do count. We made a difference. So shout out to all the gamers out there that did it. All you clowns that decided to try to defend this, go hide back in your circus because we don't want to see you for a while because you guys just showed again how wrong you are and the takes that you have, how bad they actually are. So, but here we are. We get to celebrate that. We got a lot of good news coming out. It's a good time to be gaming. So I'm ready to talk always.
Oh yeah,
So
you woke up and chose violence today, right, Pong?
Yeah,
For sure,
yeah, absolutely.
Chad. He's going off early. You already know what it is, Pong. We appreciate you, brother, Mister Battery, like I call him, Duracell over there. I got so many names for you. I don't know. I got so many like just ad libs and names I can throw at you, Pong. But appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the energy you bring every single week, man. And last but not least, this is how we smooth things down, K-Man. Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere over here. How you doing, brother? What's going on with you, man?
I've been doing pretty good. Just watching the gaming news for the past week and kind of just enjoying the games that have been coming out lately and some that I've finally got a chance to catch up on. But so good to have K-Med on here. Been interacting with you on Twitter and stuff, so it's always great to talk games as far as our favorite hobby and stuff. So let's get after it.
And let's dive in. You guys know what we do. Follow in the chat, hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate it, man. We going in head first this week. So get your beverage. We about to start up. Things finna get real. So we're gonna start with the poll of the week as we do. Once again, if you don't know about the poll of the week, every single Monday on my Twitter, I put up a poll. Had over 700 votes this last week. The engagement has been crazy on the poll. So I really enjoy that. You guys have been going off about the poll. So definitely going to continue doing those things. So appreciate you guys' support. So the poll of the week this week, and shout out to Lady AF in the chat as well. Appreciate you here. That's your wife, right, K-Man, I believe? Is that your?
No, sir.
No, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm tripping. Okay, I'm getting it all mixed up. See, I hope your wife's not listening to the chat. But anyway, let's go ahead and just start on this poll of the week. Awkward silence. But poll of the week was this week. With Psychonauts 2 currently being my game of the year and seeing the overall positive reviews of the game, what have you enjoyed about the game most? So I picked a couple different options as far as just aspects of the game that I think people would, like to talk about and discuss. So gameplay 1, characters 2, story 3, 4, level design. So level design actually won the poll, 37%. Gameplay was second. That's technically level design, gameplay kind of go hand in hand. Characters were last and 12%. Story was 22%. So if you guys don't know, Psychonauts 2 is my game of the year currently at this point in time, and I feel like a lot of people have been talking about it. So I definitely wanted to start this poll of the week with that. So we're gonna start with you, K-Man. We're gonna get your option as far as what one of those kind of drew you into the game. I know we talked about it pre-game. You just finished it. And what was out of those 4 aspects, or even one that's not on the list, what kind of stuck out to you about the game?
Yeah, I just finished Psychonauts yesterday, I think, or the day before, and I'm gonna say, the gameplay was just impressive, but I did like the story too.
Yes.
But the gameplay was very smooth, and I don't know that I'd be as into the narrative and the story if the gameplay wasn't there. So in that poll, I'd probably pick gameplay for sure. Just because it was a good solid platformer, and I've missed those. We just don't get a whole lot of platformers that are good in all those aspects, right?
True.
But really good in one or two. So yeah, no, I'd say I'd say that'd be the ticket right there.
Okay, no, I agree. There was a lot. So to be honest with you, Psychonauts 2 blew me completely away. Now I don't know what expectations I had, K-Man. I don't really know where I was at with it. I think just based on the fact that it was coming, it started off being a game that was, crowdfunded, and then obviously they were purchased by Xbox, and then now that kind of opened up the door for them to really make the game that they actually wanted to make. Otherwise, we weren't going to be getting a Psychonauts 2 that we got had Xbox not stepped in, to be honest. So I think for me, the level design, I literally tried to find something wrong with it. I deliberately tried to pick the game apart, and I couldn't really find anything that stuck out.
There really wasn't anything unless you wanted to nitpick. And I tried to play the first one, and it had aged too much for me.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And so I had no expectations. It actually it didn't even appeal to me. But the Game Pass effect got the best of me. I downloaded it, and I got sucked in, man. Like 2 hours in, and I'm like, all right, this is good. Because I didn't believe everybody saying that Psychonauts 2 was going to be good. I thought we'd see like another 60, 70, average game
Yeah.
here, but it kind of took people by surprise, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a funny thing too because, like I said, I knew about Psychonauts 1 when the game came out. I didn't play it very much at the time, but like I said, I wasn't really. To be fair, I wasn't like, oh, this is a game that I'm absolutely going to play when we heard about we were going to be getting the game. It wasn't something that was super high on my list of I have to play this. And it just completely blew me away. And what I really liked about it was that there's a couple things for me specifically. One would be that game runs beautifully. It runs phenomenally. Like that doesn't happen very often with these multi-plat games. We usually get updates and bug fixes and things like that. The game runs great. So and that's what you need that for a platformer. If the game is not running, that's the whole gameplay. If it's not running properly and it's not smooth, then there goes your platform. I don't care how good the story is. You need that gameplay to run smooth, as well as the creativity that was put into the game. As far as the level design, even like the mental health undertones. I don't know if you caught that either, K-Man. It's really a deep game without making you feel like it's going too far. Like it's fun, but it really has a lot of like mental health. I don't know if you caught that either.
I did, and the way the writing was made it very, very light, but also had those serious undertones. But it left it to the imagination, right? I mean, it wasn't in your face.
Yeah.
And sometimes things go, a bit too far in a certain medium, and you sit there and you're like, all right, am I getting lectured to now? I mean, is this am I in a class, and it didn't make you feel like that. But the mental, health undertones in it were spot on. I mean, there was some good shit in.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. We're just gonna throw this over to you, man. So out of those options, bro, which one did you choose, man?
I picked story, and the main reason being was I wasn't really expecting much either from Psychonauts 2. Kind of passed by the first one back then, wasn't on my radar, and this game was one of those where it's like, okay, I hear some buzz about it. Let me just at least try it. The Game Pass effect, as we like to refer to it. And it caught me by surprise because I'm not typically a platformer, especially a 3D platformer type person. Like my platforming days went with like Super Mario World type of deal. Outside of that, everything usually, especially like for me, there were a few games like Super Lucky's Tale was not my bag at all. It was kind of like, all right, I'm just going to play this because it's in Game Pass, and it's like, yeah, I got an achievement, I'm out type of thing. But this really, hooked me in within like I would say the first 20 to 30 minutes, and doing like the jumps through like the first few levels and stuff, and from there, the story, the characters, everything kind of drew me in even further. It didn't make me feel like I'm lost by not playing the first one. Yes, they have that quick refresher at the very beginning of the game, but the key thing was the overall story. Like K-Med said, it wasn't like you were in class. It wasn't heavy-handed where it's forcing anything down your throat or preaching to you or lecturing you or anything like that. It just, you're looking through the eyes of the main character Raz, and it's like, okay, you have his innocent look on things, and then you have some of the more adult or serious terms or tones in the background, and it just kind of works. So for me, story was the big thing that stood out. All the other stuff, yes, they definitely stand out as well, but the story is what pretty much hooked me to continue playing. The gameplay, yes, because if the gameplay sucks, you're not going to want to continue dragging through the story. But I was more focused on the story, and the gameplay just felt natural. It wasn't like you had to go through a bunch of tutorials to, figure out how to get from A to B and do certain things. It just kind of felt like it was supposed to.
I would say intuitive is probably a better way. Everything felt intuitive. Like it just felt like it was supposed to be that way. Like nothing, even the controls, the powers, nothing felt really forced, like it's out of place. Like, oh, this is stupid. Why did they put this here? Like it doesn't make any sense. It just felt really intuitive. Like this is how the game should be played, and we put everything in here deliberately. So the story was the cherry on the top for me. Like I definitely didn't anticipate the story, grabbing me like it did, as far as just with the characters and the relationship between Rez and everyone else, and how his point of view and how everybody, just everything. It was a cornucopia of just love, for like platformers, and just Double Fine are like I'm definitely looking forward to whatever they do next for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and throw this one over to you, Pong. Just get your opinion, man. Out of them options, man, which one did you choose, bro?
Yeah, I went. Well, since I'm a lot like Fuzzy, my platforming days are long gone. I don't enjoy platforming the way I used to. Obviously, still love what Psychonauts 2 brings to the table. But for me, story and characters are kind of the same. It all goes back to the writing, and I absolutely love Double Fine, Tim Schafer, and his team's writing. Again, every game they put out is something special when it comes to the story and the characters. I put down story just as a general, but again, it's both of those things combined that just make their game special at the end of the day. So for me, that's where I went. Gameplay was really good as far as a platformer goes. Had no issues with it. Loved the level design. Again, outrageous, wacky, just out of this world, drug-induced type levels. Which is absolutely fantastic. Again, that's off the charts. It's something I did expect from Tim Schafer and his group over there. So again, got all of that, but the story and characters are definitely making this game for me right now.
Awesome. Did you play the first one? Did you get a chance to play?
Yeah, I played the first one back in the day. I have fuzzy memories of it. so
no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. No pun intended. But as we get older, I mean, with the thousands of games I've played through the years, I do remember it because obviously it still was so unique, especially for the time. And again, the story and the humor is something that will always stand out. So it's always something that I liked. And back then I was playing a lot of platformers, of course. So again, it was something that was definitely that I remember, but I certainly probably could use a refresher. But a couple of the jokes in Psychonauts 2, I caught. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So some of those callbacks to the first one, I did remember when they, I was like, why is that supposed to be? Oh, that's right. And now I remember. So it comes back to me as I play through this one a little bit. But I think after I get done with this one, I may go back to the first one and just take a nice casual stroll through it. I'm not going to sit down at in one sitting, but I definitely think I'm probably going to go back through it and play it again. So
awesome,
for sure.
Awesome. So we're gonna throw this over to you, Centurion. Get your opinion. I think you've played it, but I'm not 100% sure. I know you've been working a lot lately, but if you have, out of those options, bro, which one would you think caught you if you have played Psychonauts 2? Which one did you prefer?
Well, I feel like I have an unfair advantage when it comes to this game. I have been playing it. I'm to the point of the casino level now, kind of running around the casino. I've been having a great experience. It's kind of funny how I didn't expect Psychonauts to be like this at all. It was not on my radar. Is like, it's Psychonauts. I'll just check it out when it comes to Game Pass because that's what everybody's going to be doing. And then all of a sudden you start hearing all the reviews and all the early access stuff, and it's reviewing quite well. The critics have really great things to say about it, so I'm going to check it out. And this is where I feel the unfair advantage is. I don't hide behind the fact that, yes, I am papered ADHD, and this game is like crack for me because, the idea of like finding emotional baggage and baggage tags, I was laughing when I saw that. I just totally am. I don't. What's a proper word to say? Want to just say amazed, enthralled, totally. It's amazing that he was able to take things that are constant mental blocks for people if you hang out on Twitter long enough and you are actually a genuine person, you could kind of see what some of the subline issues kind of run around in the community. And when you see how Tim Schafer is this individual who's always got a smile on his face and is always wanting to bring just joy and enlightenment into people's lives, and you're able to see these funny little things called censors that are trying to stamp you out, or you have doubts that try to weigh you down. Just how his team has taken things that influence us every single day, because I don't care who you are, there is doubts that weigh you down every single day. You always doubt yourself. And, for some people, that is a huge roadblock. And for Tim Schafer to kind of be able to somehow give physical meaning. I know it's a digital game, but to actually be like, I want a flying creature that carries a giant weight around that drops it on you, and we're going to call it a doubt. And to actually be able to give a physical manifestation to something that is normally just a mental roadblock, it just shows the creativity and the amount of talent that is just running around in Double Fine and in Tim Schafer's head.
Oh, absolutely. It's an amazingly well-made game, and we don't get those. Like, it's a full package. Like,
and also, like, let's put it out there. I haven't seen something as gruesome as the teeth door since Dante's Inferno.
Oh, fuck, dude.
You know, and we're talking about a Double
shit.
Fine. We're talking about a Double Fine game is somehow reminding me of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, it's just a multi-layered cake is what I call it. I don't know if you guys agree, but that's what I look at the game, and it's so well made, done at every single layer. Graphically, you know, the art style is super unique, the level design is super unique, the story, the way they handle the characters and the story, and it's an amazing game. And I think it blew a lot of people out of the water. Like I said, I think there's going to be people lined up waiting, you know, foaming at the mouth for whatever Double Fine decides to do next. I know I am, and it's cool that this is a studio that people didn't really talk about. They were part of that acquisition. When they got Playground and they got Undead and all of those guys and Ninja Theory, they were also part of that haul, and people didn't really talk about it at that point in time. And fast forward to now, this is probably game of the year, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, game of the year. So it's cool to see a game like this and a studio like Double Fine get the recognition that they actually deserve. So that's awesome. Super awesome. I'm excited. I think people are going to be super happy. If you haven't gotten a chance to play, please go play it. It's in Game Pass. Do yourself a favor. Go play it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So we get into the meat and potatoes here. Meat and potatoes. So what's up, chat? Let me give a couple quick shout outs. I know Mo was here. I know Lady AF was here. What's up, Rick Payne? I saw Victor in here. What's up, Diego? Doovy. I saw Big Lou. What's going on? How everybody doing, man? You guys hit that like button, subscribe if you have not. Shout out to everyone hanging out in the chat. Retweet that link. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. You guys know what we do on Saturdays, man. We're bringing the heat. So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to be talking a little bit of Dead Space. So recently, EA and developer Motive Studio, you know, they did inform us that they were going to be doing a Dead Space remake. They had a Twitch stream. I believe it was the 31st of August. I'm pretty sure. So, you know, a little bit less than a week ago. And I just really wanted to get people's opinions. Now, the angle that I'm looking at this is from, we know about Callisto Protocol, and those are the same people who did the original Dead Space, same developers, or not developers, but same group of devs who did Dead Space. So I kind of want to twist this question for you a little bit, K-Man. So not just to get your thoughts on the Dead Space remake, but do you think you think EA, like, after we saw Callisto Protocol, do you think this kind of pushed them to do this, or do you think this was something that they already had in the pipeline? Because we had been asking for Dead Space. That's not something that's new, but it seems like once Callisto Protocol was announced, oh, here we go with the Dead Space remake. So I don't know where you're at on that, but you know, if you want to elaborate at all.
Yeah. So, you know, it may have been a response considering how early they are in the dev cycle. True. After watching that. I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibility. You know, honestly, EA has so many of these IPs that they're probably waiting on a good time, you know, to release this. And maybe that was the push, you know, that they needed, and thought, hey, let's capitalize on this because there's you know, there's some need, there's some interest in this again. But yeah, I mean, shit, my interest has been here for years. You know, Dead Space is probably in my top 5 games that I've ever played. And it just, I wish I could go back and play the first one again, you know, fresh without knowing, you know, what the hell is going on. But so I'm definitely excited about this remake, and I'll be picking it up. I really hope it won't happen, but you know, I'm hoping for like some sort of collector's edition or something. With a sweet statue, but you know, that probably won't happen. But yeah, I mean, I saw that whole presentation. It was only like 45 minutes. It was different. You know, it was definitely different. But I did enjoy how transparent it was, and you know, you saw some things that maybe some people don't realize goes on in game, you know, dev work, and that was kind of neat to see. You know, just the behind the scenes action there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And
To
that's
touch
something
on
that,
his collector's
go ahead.
edition thing real quick. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, and I believe correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there an edition that came with the helmet?
There was like a separate package.
Yeah. So
like without the game, I think.
Oh,
so
that's
maybe
right.
maybe
what if
they'll
they
do
came
the
out
same
with
thing.
Isaac's helmet? Would you pay for Isaac's helmet?
I don't know, man. I really want a full statue of Isaac with a plasma cutter or something. I would jump on that. Like just take my money. Helmets, I don't know. I'd never be able to wear it because my head's gigantic. So I'd rather take the statue. Plus, my wife will think it's a little less, ridiculous if it's a statue instead of a helmet, I think.
Nice. So I mean, ultimately the thing about Dead Space, and that's the thing that kind of caught my curiosity, K-Man, about just like the timing of all of this, and this kind of goes back to what EA said as far as them changing their mindset about like just the entire company and about how they do things and how they run their games and all the shit ton of studios that they have up underneath them. So I think this is a good thing. Ultimately, especially for EA, it shows a lot of good faith for the community. It's something people have been kind of asking for a while now. And to be honest, K-Man, we don't have a lot of games in that space. Those horror type, sci-fi space games. We don't have a ton of them, at least good ones. We got the Aliens Fire Team just came out, but we don't have a ton of those types of games. So I think, would you say it was needed as well?
I don't know, man. Needs a strong word. I think it's coming at a good time. It's been such a spread since it's been released 13 years.
Yeah.
That it's going to be a brand new experience for a lot of people. And it was a special time in gaming back then. I don't know, I haven't seen it since. And I don't know if we'll see it again, but so many things were new back then, and
yes.
And I think Dead Space is going to be a new experience for a lot of people, and I envy those people that haven't played it before and now get to play it on new hardware with lighting and fog and 3D sound, right? I mean that shit excites me, and I've played it. I know exactly what happens. I mean I could recite the whole damn thing, the whole damn game to you. So I don't know about need, but I think it was the right time to release it, and I'm pretty sure that EA is just going to be pulling out these IPs. Same with like Ubisoft, are just going to be pulling out these IPs when they think they can profit the most, because at the end it's business and it's money. But they are in such early development, that I wonder. I don't think we're going to see it till 2022, late 22 or 23.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to line it up with some other games that they think it might fare well against, or that will attract attention to that genre.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. So where you at with the Dead Space remake, man? Were you a big fan of Dead Space, and two, are you excited about the remake?
Absolutely. We talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
We did. Yeah, we have talked about this. Again, not a huge horror fan here. I don't play horror games, but you give me a game with weapons in which I can destroy the big, bad, scary monsters, I'm okay. As long as I'm not extremely limited on ammo and not running for my life for most of the game, I'm good. So Dead Space was right up my alley. Really, really enjoyed Dead Space back in the day. This is huge. First of all, let's talk just a little bit about what EA is doing here. I think this was planned all along. I think we talked about this when we were talking about backwards compatibility, and we saw the FPS boost. Dead Space was not one of them getting the FPS boost, right? I think we talked about the potential that they had some plans for Dead Space, and that's why Xbox, probably reached out, and EA said, "Yeah, no, not right now." So I think this is a great another step for EA. Let's put it that way. EA is really showing something. Remove all their sports franchises, okay? Remove that whole section because that doesn't count. All right, that's a whole different topic. But for their regular, classic style games, we got to give another shout. We've shouted out Vince plenty of times, but Vince Zampella really has changed. You talk about one man coming in and changing the entire thought process of a company. He's done it. Okay. He's convinced them of a lot of different things. We just heard today that the new Mass Effect might be switching over to Unreal Engine. Oh God, praise the Lord. Okay. Look, and not using Frostbite. Vince has done a ton to the people at the top of EA to wake them up to the reality. Number one, that first-person games are still profitable if done properly. Number two, that you shouldn't probably leave, and this is also going to go to Capcom as well. I'm sure EA is looking at Capcom's success, but you don't leave your dead IPs that were once popular buried. You bring them back to life again because it works. And guess what? It worked with Mass Effect to a great degree, and that was just a remaster.
When now it's done properly as well.
Correct. That's exactly it. You always got to do it properly, and they did it. Yeah. Could the Mass Effect trilogy have used a full remake? Sure, of course it could, but that would have been a ton of time and a ton of money. And they did the absolute best they could have with what they were. What their goals were. And I think they accomplished every single one of those, and it proved to be extremely valuable to them to do that. It generated so much interest in Mass Effect again. It brought a whole new group of people who had never played them back. So here you see it with Dead Space. This IP was a beloved franchise. There's a lot of beloved franchises, whether it's a small group or whether it's a big group of people, back from different generations. One of them probably being 360 being the most. There's a lot of games back then that are still talked about today that are dead, that have not had any kind of renewal whatsoever, especially during last generation. And there's a whole group of people that hear about these games but never got to experience them. And they wonder why so many people in the community, the older guys and gals like us, talk about them still. And they don't, if they go back and backwards compatibility, they go, oh God, this is like, am I playing on the Atari here? I mean, it's very hard for some of the younger generations to go back. So EA has an opportunity, just like they did with Mass Effect, but even to a greater degree, because they are remaking this from the ground up.
Yeah.
To bring another valuable IP back into the industry, back into the spotlight, introduce it to a brand new group of people who may have never been able to experience Dead Space, give them the best possible experience. And then on top of it, Motive, from what I saw from out of this, has done a fantastic job of finding that balance. Again, we won't know until the final product's here. We've seen things before and they turned out not to be so good. But right now, as it sits, what we saw, what they gave us a sneak peek of, they have found that great balance of keeping Dead Space, keeping all the core aspects of Dead Space that made it a fantastic game to us when we originally played it. But they brought up-to-date features. They've added new kind of details, new movement, and they've taken the environments to the level that the original Dead Space team probably wished that they could have, because technology-wise, it just wasn't possible back then. The vision for Dead Space was much bigger. The ships in Dead Space are characters themselves, and they did a good job of getting that atmosphere down and making you feel like that as you walked around and you traveled through and you did all the things that you needed to do, but they didn't have it to express in such grandeur like you can now on current gen. And I think that making this a remake is showing the possibilities of what could have been had the technology been back then. And that's why I believe that Motive is doing a great job. Those side-by-side pictures with the lighting and all the new background stuff going on, just really, really knocked it out of the park for me. I was like, wow, okay, great. And then you hear little touches. They're bringing in the original actor. I forget his name right now. If anybody remembers, feel free. That played Isaac to do some actual acting in the first one, to give Isaac out of the first one some speaking parts, and not they said they're going to be very careful not to take away from the first one and what it was, but they want to add a little more depth to what the story is. And that is fantastic. Again, props to EA. Without them, again, at the end of the day, like K-Med said, it's always going to be about money. Of course, if there was no money in this industry, we wouldn't be playing diddly shit right now, right? But there's so much money in this industry. There's so much strength in this industry right now that we are getting a chance to see these older IPs revived, and EA, for all their faults, for all the things they've screwed up, for all the things they still continue to screw up, at least there's been some ray of hope. And again, it comes probably back to Vince. It comes back to Capcom showing them how it's done with the Resident Evil series and showing what it can turn into. And for that, I am eternally happy. And I still will give a prop to EA for making the decision to go ahead with this. I think it's a great thing. Again, it was cool too, just to have a kind of behind the scenes, dive with the devs. We don't get that a lot anymore, especially this early in development. You really don't see it like that. And especially after, the pandemic and stuff, it's hard to get film crews in and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of it's on the studios to do, and we're just not seeing it as much. But this early on, to see the detail that they put into, the monster when they showed like the almost X-ray vision, when you could see the breakdown of the outer, and then the muscle and the sinew and then to the bone and all that kind of stuff. And then they showed how, you're going to, because again, a big part of Dead Space and what made it so outrageous when it came out, why people were like, whoa, what is this? Chopping off the limbs was a huge part of the game. I mean, that was like, most of the time you're just shooting a sponge, but in this game, you strategically had to lop off limbs, right? That was a part of the game. And to show now that you're going to be able to see the different layers as you skin them, man, that's so cool. It's weird saying that, but man, it's really cool. Just stuff like that. That made me excited. I think they got something golden here. I hope they nail the landing, and I hope that we get what they're showing in a complete package. And then I'm really excited because I think it is going to be a big deal. And then that means we're going to get more Dead Space, whether they go back and remake 2 and 3 again, or whether they just, from this point, reboot the franchise and go a different route with the story as well. It wouldn't be a bad thing as long as we get more Dead Space like this. So I'm excited, man. I loved what I saw. And again, there's a lot of props to give here, but I'm just so happy that EA, has decided to go this route with some of their old IPs. And I hope we see more of it.
Awesome. Great breakdown. So the one thing I do want to point out here, and I feel like K-Med on this one. I'm super jealous of the people that are going to play this for the first time. Like, I just wish I could have that feeling all over again. Like, it's going to be insane. Like Lady AF, just shout out to you in the chat. She mentioned this will be her first. I think even Mav said it was his as well. So you guys are in for a real treat, man. So let's
it's just like all the Mass Effect people that got to experience that trilogy.
Yes.
My God. I mean, talk about coming in at the right time. Woo,
let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Get your opinion on Dead Space. Just where you at with Remake. Is that you gonna pick it up, or just would you? I know it's super early build. We didn't get to see much, but just from what we saw, where you at on it?
I'm a fraud. So I also, this will be my first time playing Dead Space.
God damn it. See, look.
No, it was just, I think at the time when that originally came out, I was strictly on PC and focusing on just doing like NASCAR racing and doing the paint schemes and the tracks and stuff like that. So at that point, I was just like tunnel vision on racing stuff. But I'm definitely going to pick this up, as well as Callisto Protocol. I kind of joked about this before. While they may have had some plan, like Pong was saying, with them having the denying the FPS boost type of deal, it just seems so weird to me that it's like, oh, Callisto Protocol, and it's by the people that originally made Dead Space, but not under EA, just the actual personnel.
Yeah.
And then, like a couple of months later, they announced it. It's like, is it something that they had all along that they were sitting on, or was it one of those that they had one of those meetings and it's like, all right, we got 5 projects, but we only have funding for 3. And then that one somehow got, bumped to the top of the list type of thing. But it was great to see like a behind the scenes or like an early, look at things and stuff like that. And given the atmosphere improvements compared to what they had for the original visuals, I think is going to be huge. And like K-Med said, with having the new tech as far as the audio and the visuals that you're going to, the improvements that they're going to have on this game, even for those that have already played it, and yes, you'll probably know the script from end to end, it's going to feel like a new experience to some extent when you have the audio cues and things like that now, because 3D audio, I won't say it's a full game changer, but it's damn near close.
For a game like Dead Space, it's that's a super big deal because atmosphere is all about that. That's what Dead
Yeah.
Space is. Yeah.
I'm not going to be
Yeah.
playing with headphones. I cut it off. I draw the line there.
Well, you just got to pair the headphones with a diaper. That's it.
Right.
Golden.
That's about it, K-Man. You're right. That's about it for me.
No, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. But it's going to be one of those things where I'm kind of leaning more towards Callisto Protocol than I'm looking forward to, only because they're like the originals. But then again, EA money, EA time, equipment, and whatnot, and I have to give it to them. This change or this turnaround with Vince Vaughn doing a lot of stuff. Telling them no Frostbite for the Star Wars game, for the Fallen Order and stuff. It's good to see because, well, we all know what was it, a couple of years ago they were like, oh, there's no money in for single player games, or they're not profitable like they once were, and it's like, oh,
They did say that. You're right.
it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, they realize when they're made well and they're an IP or something of interest to people, or they can garner new interest. Yeah, it's going to sell. So yeah, it's just a good turnaround for EA. Once again, they're kind of bailing themselves out of being looked upon as being one of the worst companies in gaming. But there's a lot of other bad players that are overshadowing their sports shenanigans, I guess you could say. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to Dead Space, and I'm curious to see how soon we get Callisto Protocol in comparison to Dead Space. I think it'll be one of those things where you'll have Callisto Protocol to play 1 year and Dead Space probably the following year. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And before we get to Centurion to wrap this particular topic, I want to go back to UK real quick, K-Man. Are you playing? Well, we don't know much about Callisto, but is that a game are you looking forward to that game as well? I mean, because before we knew we got the remake, that was kind of something that would fill that gap. Were you looking forward to that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. After the that reveal, I got pumped for it. I mean, I love that whole genre, So if it can scare me or attempt to scare me, then I'm all for it, dude. So I'd be picking that up too. Although, do we have a release date for that, or was that just a teaser?
I don't think we have her. I could double check, but I don't think we got any type
I don't
of
think
date.
we got a
Did
release
chat
date.
let us know? I don't think we did, chat.
Yeah, I don't think there is one yet. So we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of hoping they don't come out at the same time. I mean, Visceral Studios was so talented, and they kind of just went by the wayside. So it's nice to see them kind of come back around to something horror related. At first, before that trailer, the whole like PUBG thing, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what is going on right now? But
we got to pay bills. We got to keep the lights on.
Whatever works. I mean, it could take place in the Animal Crossing universe for all I care. But it really seems, that kind of reminded me of the monster movies that oh my god, in New York, the cult classic, and then they came off with a bunch of Netflix series on it, and
what was it? I can't even
it's
think of the
escaping
name.
me right now, man.
I
But
can't
it
even
was
think
like
of the
the camera shot one original,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
and then
about.
Netflix came out with their series that was like up in space and had one shot of the monster to tie it into the universe, and so it kind of reminds me of that. I don't know if they're just using the PUBG name just to. I don't know why. It's mysterious to me, but okay. That actually threw me off. But the trailer looked good, so I'm always If it can make me shit my pants, then I'm in. I'm 100% in. I don't care what it is.
I love that. I love that energy. I love it. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion, before we wrap this topic up, bro. So what do you think of the remake that's coming out? I mean, any expectations?
Man, what can I say that it hasn't already been said? My expectations I feel like are already being met. I want them to stay true to. I have more memories of the first game than any of them. I played the first game, played the second game, kind of wasn't around for the third game. So that's actually I do own them on backwards compatibility. I want to go back and play the third game. But I'm glad that they are being respective to the lore. when I first heard about the remake, I kind of did some deep reading on it. I already knew of the council that they have to pretty much that they have to answer to. It's a group of individuals that somehow are keeping them true to the lore of the game. We actually saw two of them doing the interview during the live stream. And to see what they're doing to the game now, Pong, Fuzzy, everybody's mentioned it, seeing how they're building the game from the ground up. We've also seen another company that successfully has done this, and that's Capcom with Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just say, you know, no matter what in business, companies do take notes when they see how, like, what was going on at Capcom before they figured out, like, oh, wow, we could kind of, you know, redo some of our games and make money off of IPs we've already done by remaking them. And we've seen Capcom completely turn the company around. All of a sudden, Capcom's everywhere. We've got Resident Evil everywhere. We saw, God, what was the name of it? God, the monster game, Monster Hunter, right?
Hunter,
yeah, we saw the success of Monster Hunter. EA had obviously been taking notice of this. I don't think they went out and maliciously, you know, secretly knew that what was going on at Motive and that they were creating the Calypso protocol. And I don't think they maliciously went out and did that, but they already knew that as soon as Calypso protocol probably showed that they were making a game, all of a sudden EA is like, well, let's probably show the world that we've been doing, because we already did it with Mass Effect. They kind of learned their lesson about putting all their eggs in one basket. Fuzzy mentioned that on the whole idea of how the dude that at EA that came out and pretty much said that for single player games were not a moneymaker and not really of any interest to the company at the time. And to see them completely change that attitude is amazing. I'm excited about this game. I'm looking forward to it. I want to experience those closed in claustrophobic hallways.
Yeah.
I want to see, I mean, that image of like when that first time you go out in 0G and you basically, there's a gaping hole in the side of the ship and you can see the planet. And like we talked about the characters of the ships. I mean, that amazing moment when because you read about the ship that you're on, the Ishimura, being a planet cracker, and you had no idea of what this ship did until you walk outside and you're like, wow, that's a big freaking hole in the side of that planet. And you realize that the ship you're on did that. It just totally helped. I mean, it really created some depth for the game that at the time felt like gaming really did not have new experiences. Yeah. I mean, the idea of walking out in 0G, experiencing that. I mean, also the ability to jump from the floor and to land on another
dismemberment. Remember, we didn't have dismemberment at that level until Dead Space came out. Being able to target specific like body parts.
Yeah, and now they're taking dismemberment to a whole nother level. We all knew about, like, I didn't realize from the tech test that they're actually building bone and like Pong said, the layers, but they're also using some kind of AI or whatever to help create randomness to these layers. So at one time when you're actually dismembering an arm, there is potential that the arm is dismembered, but it's still holding on by the skin and just flapping there. I'm like, wow, now this is interesting.
What?
So yeah, I mean, they're taking gore to like gore levels. Like,
ASD.
I mean, like things gonna be flopping around like a fish. So I'm just like, now going back to Capcom on Resident Evil, they did remake a game, but they were also able to craft in experiences that were technically new to the game. So I really do see them probably doing some stuff like that too, where players that are new, that aren't new to the first game, are going to be able to go in and find things that they were not expecting or are completely new to the game, purely because they did want you to have that experience of playing the game for the first time again. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like they're trying to do what they can to keep true to the lore, and I really hope this is something that really is a big popular thing going forward, because there is numerous franchises in gaming right now that could really use a little bit of the dust blown off of them and some light shown on them, because they really are staples in gaming. I mean, I was really depressed when I found out Visceral Games was shut down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was one of those things where it didn't make much sense, but at the time, I'm glad to see come full circle. They're back. They're able to make the kind of game they want with Callisto Protocol, and then EA still able to take a franchise like Dead Space and still make it relevant in 2021, which is super dope. So I think we're all winners. We're the winners at the end of the day. Even though all of that happened back then, we kind of took the brunt of that, back then because it was a game. It didn't really make much sense at the time, but now we're getting those things. So I'm super happy about it. So I think we're all happy about Dead Space. You guys that have never tried it before, I'm gonna karate chop you guys because I'm jealous. And this is, but no, it's you guys are gonna be in for a real treat. You're gonna be super happy. And and Pong, you need to go ahead and get those Depends ready. Go ahead and make your trip to Walmart if you need it, because it's you just have to play the game. I can't really describe. Maybe K-Med could do a better job of describing it, but you just have to play it, man.
With headphones. Paul.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Not with
gotta do it,
headphones.
man.
I told
You
you.
can
I played,
do it,
I
man.
played
No,
them.
man,
I
you gotta do
played
it.
them, but not with the headphone. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, you got to, man. Just make sure you buy the not the store brand Depends. You want the legit Depends. There's a difference. I speak from experience.
Nice, man. But let's go ahead and keep this thing moving. Shout out to the people in the chat, man. What's up, Invader? I see Caitlin. I know Mav was here. Shout out to everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe if you guys have not already. We're having a bunch of fun. Appreciate you guys dropping in, man. So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to be talking a little bit about this PlayStation Showcase coming up. That's big freaking news, man. And I'm super excited about it. Now, obviously, we all kind of been sitting around wondering when they're going to do something of the sort. Now, we did get some information. It's going to be about 40 minutes, which means to me, not quite E3. When I hear E3 level, I think, 60 minutes or more. So not quite that. But the key thing here is showcase, not state of play. Showcase, which means I think they're going to show a bunch of highlights. Obviously, they've kind of touched on a couple things, but I want to get everybody's opinion on one. What do you think about just the event, and then what do you hope to see? So we'll start with you, K-Man, and let us know in the chat as well. What do you guys want to see from this PlayStation event next week? So we'll start with you, K-Man.
What do I want to see?
Yeah,
Boy,
brother.
That's just
put you on the spot.
That's open to all possibilities.
Oh, man.
Well, I think.
Hey, we love to go to Speculation Town, by the way. Ask Pong. He lives there. He rents a condo. In
Rainbows, unicorns,
and unicorns,
sunshine, 75.
We go there. We visit very often. Absolutely.
I would, I think everybody really would love to see some God of War.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really, really hoping we see some God of War. If they drop pre-orders, I'm gonna lose my shit. Because I might lose my house too, considering what else has dropped recently. But yeah, I'm gonna be broke as fuck. God of War is definitely up there. I would love to see something out of left field, man. I would love to see something that I wouldn't expect, but I hate getting my hopes up. I hate thinking Silent Hills. I hate thinking some secret project that they're working on. I really don't know. What I do think, I have a strong suspicion that we're gonna see God of War, because they've warned us several times before that to not expect God of War in the state of plays. So, and this time they didn't say anything, and that's sus to me right there, that they didn't emphasize to not tune in to see God of War. If God of War is there, then really I don't care much about the rest. Honestly, everything else would be a bonus.
Yeah.
I could live through some more Deathloop and Death Stranding videos just to get to God of War. I could probably watch an hour of that again if God of War was at the end of that pain, because I feel like that's all we've seen. So yes, anything else besides more Death Stranding shit and more Deathloop stuff, because I'm already sold on both those. You either know that you're gonna get it or you're not gonna get it at this point. I would love to see some cool indie titles too. Some of the best games that I've played this year have been smaller games. That's true. I mean, we're getting closer to that release. Maybe some more footage of that. It's almost hard for me to think that that's an indie game, considering how much hype it has, but it is. I mean, I would love to see some smaller games come out because there's going to be so much to play, this fall and this winter, and I really don't need, anything recent, anything upcoming right now. Like I have enough. But if God of War had some announcement for spring or something, that would be fantastic. And I think PlayStation 5 owners would be ecstatic to have that to play on their consoles. Although, we heard that it was cross-gen, right? Was
Yes.
that yeah? So I
Yes.
mean, PS4 owners will have something to
Yeah.
be excited about too.
So
Um,
I want to throw something at you, a little bit of a curveball. I know
yeah,
you're kind of
please.
in the middle of your thing here,
No,
but
no, go ahead, man.
so me and Fuzz kind of been talking about this, and I've seen it on Twitter here and there. Some people have brought it up. Now, do you think this God of War is a full 30-hour, 20 to 30-hour God of War, or do you feel like it's going to be, because think about it, Ragnarok, the way the last God of War ended with Thor, that whole situation, is this going to be a full-fledged God of War, like completely separate, like 20, 30-hour, or do you think it's going to be more of a Miles Morales type deal where it's just finishing off that last story before they move on to something else?
Mm. And I've pondered this myself too. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see a full fleshed out story.
Okay. Okay.
I really do, and I think that's why they're taking their time with it. It's been what
When the
was it,
last one come out? 18?
2017,
18?
2018.
18, I think it
Yeah.
was.
So
It's
with
about that time.
with those assets being there and being established, I don't know that there'd be ground up work, and they'd be able to reuse that. I think they've had enough time to fully flesh out a story. I think that the cycle is kind of right there, especially if we see like a summer release or a
Mm-hmm.
late spring release. I could see it, man. And you know, I'm thinking we might see some more Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah,
been a
yeah.
while.
It's been a little bit.
It's been a bit. I was a huge Gran Turismo fan way back, like PS1 days, where you got, where you started off with your beater box and upgraded and painstakingly made that, your 900 horsepower sleeper car. So I'd be down for a Gran Turismo. I mean, it's a little different than the racers that are out there now, um, and uh, and I'd love to see that. I mean, that franchise has been asleep for a while.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would love to see God of War. I think everybody would love to see God of War, um, and uh, and maybe some indies sprinkled in there. I think their big announcement's going to be God of War
I think
Ragnarok. I
so
really
too.
do.
I'm with
I
you
mean,
on
I
that.
think that's going to be front and center. I don't know if it's going to be mid-show. Maybe
Uh,
start off with some smaller things and just kind of wow people, or maybe end show. Um, God, man, if they want people to keep watching,
uh,
I'd sprinkle it in the
40
middle
minutes is
somewhere.
not a long. That's going to go by extremely fast. So when you think
That's
about
true.
that
That's
too, there's
true.
not going to be a lot of break. You're not going to get a lot of dev talk in between. I don't think we're not going to get a lot of full
Yeah,
fleshed out.
hopefully
Hey,
it's some
we're gonna.
gameplay, some trailers,
Yeah,
and
that's what.
we get something meaty in there, something that excites people because
Yeah,
um, as for the events that happened this year, only thing I was really excited was for the Xbox
E3.
Bethesda show. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean that was the only thing that kind of pumped me up. So I would
Yeah.
love to see something on the PlayStation side get me excited for to pre-order something like I was for The Last of Us 2. I want that excitement, and I think God of War would do it. I think God of War would do it.
Okay, no, that's fair, and I'm with you on that one. I'm a huge God of War fan. Noted on this podcast. Go back and check my receipts, please do. I'm a huge God of War fan, so I'm with you on that. Me and Fuzz were talking about this last night in party chat on Xbox. About is that going to be something that they show at the end or the beginning, or if they and we'll get your opinion, Fuzz, too, because I know Fuzz had a different opinion on what's going to be like the thing at the show. So that's a great segue. Let's go ahead and throw this over to you anyway, Fuzz.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep this quick. I figure, even though it's not a state of play, I figure there's going to be a quick touch on Call of Duty Vanguard and GTA 5
Oh
remastered.
yeah, we can't forget
Just
about that.
just because they have the marketing rights, and there's going to be a little bit of, like, I think kind of like a free upgrade for those that are PS Plus members on the GTA 5 end of things. I think, I can't swear to that, but they're going to at least touch on that. I think we're going to get a little bit more deeper dive, possibly on Jet, the Far Shore, that the indie that's kind of like a No Man's Sky, but a little bit different art style type of thing to it. Um, I think that's going to get thrown in there. The backdrop for the advertisement on the showcase itself kind of reminds me of a car grill. So the first thing that came to mind, I definitely think we're going to see a bit more of Gran Turismo 7. I just got that feeling. It just reminds me of a car grill type of deal. And I have a feeling that's going to be the next game that probably is released right after, what do you call them? After Horizon Forbidden West. I, I I think we might get gameplay on, given like what K-Med said, since they didn't, prepare people to say, hey, no, don't expect God of War there. We probably will get some gameplay or some more details on it, but I don't think that's the show closer. I'm going out on a limb here. I think Insomniac, the wizards they are, Miles Morales, I forget who said it in the gaming community. It may have been somebody on Iron Lords or something along those lines. But I remember hearing somebody say, Miles Morales was probably something Insomniac did as an extra thing that they kind of had on the side and it was ready. And Sony was like, oh, we can hold this for the launch of the PS5 type of deal. I think they also, with knowing that the Spider-Man movie coming out this holiday, No Way Home, I think they got something else for us. I think they end the show saying, hey, this holiday, pre-order your Spider-Man No Man Home game. Now, I think it's going to be around the same sizing of like Miles Morales, a little bit shorter game than the full Spider-Man 2. Maybe we even see a Spider-Man 2 logo at the end of that. But I think that's coming for this holiday because it just feels a little weird that there's nothing past October as far as on their first party end of things. Or as far as like console exclusive things right at this moment. And I just think Insomniac, the wizards they are, they're going to surprise everyone with like a Spider-Man No Way Home. I wouldn't say DLC, but kind of like a standalone game that's maybe 20 to 24 hour or 25 hours type of deal. And it'll be around the same pricing as Miles Morales was, and they'll be ready for this holiday in time for the movie.
What do you think about that, K-Man? Because I know Insomniac are wizards. I just don't know about the turnaround on another Spider-Man game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, considering, well, they are wizards and they already have the basics down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how excited I'd be for another Spider-Man, even if it's a movie tie-in. The movie looks fun, unless it's like, the whole multiverse thing. You can play as like different Spider-Man, during the game. Maybe that might get me going, but like, I feel like I've had my Spider-Man fill as of late. But I'm not discounting that. I mean, I think it's entirely possible. Insomniac, they're either like slaving over there or hiring child laborers or some shit, because they're pumping out games like crazy. I mean, they've basically carried, Sony for the last 2 years. And I loved Ratchet and Clank. So, I mean, if another Spider-Man comes out, when did Miles was a release game, right? With
November.
The PS5.
Was that November?
Yeah, so man, that's some fucking turnaround
It's
there.
ridiculous.
But I mean, I wouldn't discount it. It'd be fantastic. Plus, again, they might just be announcing a pre-order, a little teaser, or just a splash screen. We might not get a full release date. So that's entirely possible that it could be, 2023, release for that. But people love Spider-Man. Like, you can't hate Spider-Man. That's like you put up Spider-Man, you put up Batman, you put up Superman, and you're golden. I mean, the people are gonna go crazy. Star Wars, crazy. I mean, it's a safe bet. It would be interesting.
It helps that the last two were really good. It helps that Spider-Man.
I mean, yeah. I played both of them, and I beat. I played through them both, and I liked both. And people were talking smack on Miles Morales, and I thought that was the better game than the first one, even though it was shorter. But yeah, I'd probably be a sucker and buy it too, because I'm a degenerate like that, and I just buy everything. But yeah, no, that's a good theory. I wasn't even thinking Spider-Man because of that turnaround.
Oh, and Predator in the chat had a good point, and this is one that I think it's another possibility. A director's cut of The Last of Us 2 that includes factions where they're multiplayer.
That's another thing.
Cut. Oh man, I don't even want to get into that. I'll let Pong get into that.
All right, so I mean that's a shout out to Pred too. He said to Last of Us 2. That's another thing too. We got to consider that could happen. That's definitely something that they can fit in the show. It makes sense. They talked about having it for a while now, so it makes sense. Then Ratchet and Clank DLC as well. That's interesting as well. So those two things can definitely happen. So speaking of Pong, once again, another great segue. We're going to throw this over to you, Pong. So what are your expectations? And I know you're kind of I'm trying to, well, no, you're not. I take that back. I got the wrong person. Pred's in speculation town. So that's where we're going, right, Ped?
Yeah.
Pred. I mean, Pong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's where we're going.
We're going to speculation town. So, yeah, no, this is exciting. Glad Sony finally is doing something. There's a lot of people wondering if they would do anything. And I was on the fence as to whether or not they would show or if they would kind of skate through the rest of the year. Again, demand for PlayStation 5 is beyond, so they don't have any issues selling any consoles they're going to put out there. They had a great first part of this year when it comes to PlayStation. They obviously, shot all their bullets out the gate and made a lot of people happy. And I thought they could have skated and then kind of held off to start the new year in 2022 with a bang. But again, it's good to see them come out and do this. And with this, I think at this point, I'm going again. We're in speculation town here, so I always go big because I like to hype. And I like to think. I know we're dealing with a brand new Sony, and that's always the wild card here because the management is all different, right? We've seen that time and time again now.
No Sean Layden. No Sean
correct.
Layden.
So, but I think. Excuse me. Hold on. Didn't want to cough in everybody's ear there.
Good.
I think that they are actually going to harken back to 2015, 2016 with this show. 40 minutes doesn't feel like a long time when you say 40 minutes, but if you remember the Xbox E3 show, in 40 minutes, what we saw, we were already worn out. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that if they pace it now, it all depends on pacing. It depends on, if I think I read somewhere they talked about some developer interviews. Now, I didn't understand if that was going to be during the show or if they were going to kind of have an after show thing that you could watch, maybe posted somewhere. So I didn't quite catch all of it, but let's just go with the fact that this is going to be a sizzle reel. This is going to be one after another. If you are showing logos, that takes zero time at all, right? That's all they need to do. We saw that with God of War. We saw what can happen, the hype that it can drive. I think this show's all about hype. So they're going to harken back to 2015, 2016, sell the people on the future, sell the people hope. That's what they're going to be doing here. And I think it fits with their MO. I think it's a perfect time to do this. So God of War definitely will be there. I think we even get some early gameplay out of God of War. I think they are ready to rock the world with this. Obviously they know what they've got on their hands, and I think it's time. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal as far as like this big, massive blowout of gameplay, but I definitely think they're ready to show it. Maybe another, portion of CGI, a little bit of, more of a hint at the story, where it's going to go, whatever the case may be. I definitely think we're going to see God of War. We're definitely going to get Gran Turismo. I think that's time to show now. Whether or not Polyphony can actually get this out next year is another question, but we'd like to think so. But again, they are the king of delays as well when it comes to their development cycle. But I'd love to see, even though it's cross-gen, it's not going to be, the Gran Turismo of old, but I'd love to see another Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport head-to-head competition next year. I think it'd be very interesting to see that happen, and I think they're going to show off a little bit more on Gran Turismo. I think that Fuzzy was spot on with Spider-Man. I'm not going to agree with them putting out another game this year, but I think Spider-Man 2 logo gets shown for sure. I think they're ready to put that out there. Obviously, everybody knows it's coming with the movies coming, with the hype that the movies got. We saw the record-breaking trailer reviews, views, I should say, overall. They're not let's just put it this way: the Sony of old would not let that go by without capitalizing on it. So I think you put out the Spider-Man 2, keep that hype train just at full tilt, and roll with it. And I think a lot of people, the internet would explode just because of the logo. So I think you do get Spider-Man 2. I think that the smoke that we've been hearing for quite a while now, I think we get to see a little bit of flames here. I think we finally hear about the Metal Gear Solid remake. I think this is an exclusive. I think they got it from Konami. And I would not doubt that Blue Point is working on it.
Yeah.
And I think it would make perfect sense to, again, drop a logo, drop some kind of teaser. Metal Gear Solid remake would blow people's minds. And again, this show, I believe, is that they're promising, giving people the promise of the future. And I think that's what they're going to do with that. Let's see, going from there, I think Deathloop has been shown to death, pun intended. I don't think you need to show that anymore. I think everybody's aware of that. I don't think I would waste my time on the show with another Deathloop.
And Alan Wake 2, Alan Wake as well is probably going to be there.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 could potentially be there for sure.
Not Alan Wake 2, but just the remaster.
The remake, the
official
remake,
announcement.
Yeah. That definitely could be there. I think that there's a potential that From Software, if the exclusive talk we've been hearing is true and they're working on another exclusive, I think From could show up. And I don't think it's necessarily, anything more than a tease, obviously, at this point, because they're furiously finishing off Elden Ring here. But I definitely think we could get a tease, and then I do think we could hear about a Bloodborne patch, 60 frames per second. And
you realize what you're saying. This is like the perfect Sony show.
Yeah, I know. And we've seen him do it before.
He said he was speculating.
He did say. I just want to make sure we're all aware of what's going.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm in speculation town. So again,
the Sony fans are going to need Depends for a whole other reason.
Oh my god!
Hey, look, I'm for hire. Anybody wants me to run their shows, I'll make the shows the best ever. Okay, I'll tell you the lineup you need, and we'll get it done. No, I think From shows up. I get the Bloodborne 60 frames patch, and I think they announced the PC port, and I think everybody's happy with that. I think we get to see they've been busy behind the scenes. Make no doubt about it. I know a lot of people are tired of Sony being quiet and not talking about what they got going on, but make no mistake about it, Sony has not. They've rested on their laurels in some ways. They've gotten very confident in some ways, but they also know that they need content. They're not stupid. They know what Microsoft and Xbox has coming down the pipeline, and they know they have to keep up in some form or fashion. They're not going to be able to, match it one for one, but they're going to have to keep people engaged. So I believe they've been cutting a lot of deals behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
I think that we start seeing some of those. I think we see Final Fantasy 16 again there, talking about that. Maybe even get a little bit more showing of Final Fantasy 16. And then I think we get to see some of these deals behind the scenes that they've been making for some multiplayer games. One of their biggest weaknesses, and a weakness that is starting to creep in more and more and more, especially now with the metrics kind of changing to engagement. Even if you are in the old style that Sony is, the old metric system, it doesn't work anymore. You need people engaged. And I think that the multiplayer deals that they've cut, I think they probably have, I think we've heard that they're working on a games of service type game. They've got another multiplayer game, which some people have speculated could be
that Jade Raymond game too.
Yeah, the Jade Raymond one I think is too early, right? I think that's way too early. I think we don't hear about that till maybe late next year or the following year. But SOCOM has been rumored as coming back again. And that would be a huge franchise to bring back for Sony as their multiplayer experience. So I definitely think that could happen. Now, the interesting one, and it was just brought up, is what do they do with The Last of Us 2 director's cut? Because we know we're going to get one. I think that Factions is a standalone game at this point. I think that we're not going to see the director's cut with Factions. I think they've moved in a completely different direction. Factions is going to be another multiplayer mainstay.
They're going to charge $30 for Factions, you think? $40?
I think they're going to go full. I think they might, at the end of the day, go full price on it. I think they might come out I think you don't with the lack of first party first party shooter, multiplayer shooter games over at Sony. And with as big as a fan base as they had in Factions, a rabid fan base, I think they try to go for it. I'm not saying $70 per se, but I think it comes out at almost a full price game. It's going to be standalone. They've created a whole nother team to start working on it. They've been hiring like mad for that specifically. And I think that's why they do it. I think the director's cut of The Last of Us 2, which they could announce here as well, I think you're going to see it. Not this year, but I think we're going to talk about it next year. I think it's going to be one of their main plays next year. And I think I definitely think you're going to see that. No doubt. I mean, again, maybe they add a little something to it. Maybe they throw in The Last of Us 1 on top of it, obviously upgraded. And I think they bundle the package deal. And I think we could get a teaser for it for next year. It might be a little early for that one, but I think that's definitely a possibility. But I definitely think we're going to see some second party stuff. I think we do see some more Kena. I think that's one of their big ones. As far as the smaller titles go, again, as big as that can be, a lot of people are hyped for it. So I do think we get another little glimpse of that one again. We've seen a lot of that too, though. It's really tough when you've seen that much of the games. But I definitely think this 40 minutes is going to be well spent. I'm hyped for it. Forspoken will be there as well. Yes. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, Forspoken absolutely will be really there. Good. Looks fantastic. It's one of the only Sony games right now. When they showed it off, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I love this. I love everything about what I'm seeing, and I want to see more. We haven't heard anything since last year, so I definitely think it's time to show that game as well. So yeah, no, you know what? I'm in speculation town, but I really think Sony, again, I just never underestimate Sony, no matter what position they're in, because there have been times where people have done that, and then they come and they blow everybody out of the water. I think next week is going to get real messy on Twitter. I think that I really do. We're going to be back to the Xbox is dead whole thing. We're going to be back to the Xbox has no games. We're going to be back to all that garbage next week.
That's just factually untrue, but anyway.
It is, but they don't care. Again, the clowns don't play in our world, so it doesn't matter. They're going to be back to that after this show, because I think Sony is going to blow it out of the water. I think they're going to be trending everywhere like they like to do, and I think this is a good show for them. I really do. I believe that they're coming with all guns out, guns blazing. So that's where I'm at. So let's see where.
You just described pretty much a perfect Sony show. Now they got 40 minutes. Now they can fit a lot in 40 minutes. Now, essentially, what I agree with you to a certain point, because when I hear showcase means to me like highlights. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely going to be stuff with things that their fan base absolutely wants to see and needs to see. So I don't know if it'll be as much as you said, but what's the worst that could happen, right?
Well, the worst that could happen is they could have maybe the whole showcase turns into Abandoned for 40 minutes. Maybe they just promote that, right?
Please no.
God.
Just 40 minutes of a guy walking.
Yeah, maybe they bring what's his face out there. Maybe nobody from Sony shows up and what's his face from Abandoned, the developer that's always out there. Maybe he comes out and just talks for 40 minutes about how it's going to be a great game. Not to worry about it. They're going to give away their old games for free, even though none of those games ever launched. They're going to give them away for free for anybody pre-orders Abandoned. I mean, it's going to be a great show. 40 minutes of that.
My goodness. Oh, it's too much. I knew that was going to get in there at some point. I knew it. But no, I'm with you on a lot of those points. I definitely think some of those will actually actually legitimate. I think that we'll see God of War. There is a chance for some Spider-Man level type. Obviously, because the movie's coming out, so it makes sense just from a marketing standpoint. Might as well, like, if there, or even just the announcement, you know what I'm saying? So to help hype the movie as well. But there's going to be some cool things, and I fully expect Sony to come out and try and show off. I fully expect them to come out and really put their best foot forward. I think anything less wouldn't be after what we saw at E3. I don't think they can really do anything less. Like, and this is not really like in a shot at Sony, but this is the type of pressure these companies need to put on each other. It's good pressure, you know what I'm saying, for us as well as just being gamers. So I do agree with you. I don't know if I'm vacationing in speculation town just yet, but I'm right there with you though.
That's okay. Speculation town's just for visiting, so you just show up every once in a while, check it out, enjoy it, and then you just walk away, and that's what it is. So you got to see a few unicorns, a few rainbows, you're good. That's
Absolutely.
how it does.
Let's go and
Good.
throw this over to Centurion to wrap this topic up so we can get to the last one on here. Centurion, with this event, man, where you at? What do you think, brother?
Well, I can't. I'm really hoping that they go down Pong's route where they're out here, getting people to name their children PSN Network to get a lifetime supply. Did you hear about that? The person who actually got like free Bethesda games for naming their kid Dovahkiin.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so
Wow.
Aaron Greenberg had to come out and tell people, please do not name your child Xbox Live. You will not get Xbox Live for life as like a thank you. So I really hope they are out there creating this show though, Pong. I mean, it would be amazing if they really did knock it out of the park. It would, like Pong said, everybody be at their throats. For Twitter would be a very interesting place if this show went down. I'm going to be absolutely honest. I have no idea what they're going to really honestly show outside of the stuff you guys have mentioned. I'm just really hoping that they really do bring something, because I'm kind of shocked at Sony, if you want me to be honest, like to not sit there and go about all the stuff that they could show, because you guys have really touched on it quite well. Let's talk about the fact that Sony really hasn't had much to show for a while. I mean, we've had a few great things here and there with Ratchet and Clanks, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. There's been some things to speak about, but nothing like really jaw-dropping. And I knew as soon as the first time I saw the whole God of War Ragnarok, it wasn't going to be 2021. I was even kind of shocked that I'm even hearing 2023. I really hope they're really going to come out and do something that I'm not expecting. But some of the stuff I've seen lately just come out of PlayStation is kind of in line with, this is a new kind of PlayStation. They're under new leadership with Jim Ryan. They are doing things totally different at this point, and I really do not know what to expect out of them.
True. No, it's that's another thing we have to think about too as well. Is that the way they've been moving, this Sony we're not used to. You know, the way that they've been a lot quieter this year. Usually they generally capitalize. You know,
they've been
Sony
a lot quieter than, like, not just this year. I mean, ever since they really came out with that letter, like, oh, we're just gonna get down like a tiger and we're gonna wait till next gen. It's like they've been crouched down for so long now that it just feels like, well, what happened? You guys used to be like the place to go see a man play a flute. Now you can't even you can't even, you guys don't, you do these pre-recorded these pre-recorded shows that pop up on social media, on YouTube. And you just have this like announcer voice that's just covering everything. Like, I haven't seen an actual stage presence that actually gets me hyped for the PlayStation brand in a long time. And I really hope PlayStation is kind of getting ready to stop doing the same thing they've been doing for probably, in my opinion, the past 2 years, and actually do something that gets me excited for the brand. I have a PS5. I'm even more grateful today that I have a launch PS5 after some of the stuff I've seen lately with the newer PS5s. This is totally, I mean, it's interesting to see how PlayStation is handling this gen compared to some of the other companies.
No, it's different, you know. But once again, I think they're gonna get back on track with it. I'm super excited for this show. I really am, because
I'm really excited. I don't want people to think I'm being a Debbie Downer. No. I could sit there and talk about all the same games that you guys have, but I mean, like, I'm just looking at it from like what hasn't been touched on is, I really hope Sony does something, because they have been really a lot more. They have been very silent this year alone. Like you mentioned, the biggest game that has been pretty much touted has been director's cuts and a Microsoft Studios game. Really, please, can you guys do something at this point? And if not, it's just really interesting that what if, like, let's talk about, since we're in speculation town, what if really Sony comes out on September whatever and just regurgitates the same thing that's been said all year long.
That's not gonna happen. There's zero chance of that happening. You don't have to worry about that. I promise.
But what, like, that's why I'm saying speculation town. Like what? Because what if they really truly don't have anything for holiday? Like that would be a very interesting. Like, now what is going to happen on social media? How are people going to spin that? Like, it's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be the same as it is. I would say if they don't have anything more, and I think they probably have maybe one ace up their sleeve. Maybe.
Well, they did just release a trailer for a game, I believe, recently, just like last week. I was like, whoa, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah, no, they got stuff in the works. I'm just saying, as far as this holiday goes, they're kind of set in stone. I don't think that they have anything. They might have one ace in there somewhere, but I just don't. Again, I don't think it would change anything, Centurion, as far as how people would react. I think people have kind of gotten into the mode of, hey, this is the way it is right now. Sony gave us a lot in the beginning of the year, and they're just going to miss this holiday, which isn't overly abnormal.
Out of the ordinary. Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's not. It's not really. And everybody, again, the future, the hope and promise that Sony always sells is always what they've been about. And I just don't think people would really care. Again, just with the demand for PlayStation 5s right now at where it's at, I just don't think that's going to change just because they don't have anything gigantic for holiday. They've never put a focus on holidays.
I agree. And I think, and K-Man will end on this one because I kind of want to wrap this topic up with you. I kind of think the key here, and this is the biggest thing, and maybe you'll piggyback on this, K-Man. It's how Sony looks going forward. What do we look like we're doing going forward? And I don't know, and I think that's going to be the key to this show. What does Sony look like they're planning going forward? Because we already understand this year is pretty much a wash. You don't have a ton of things going on, but the holidays, no real huge games besides Deathloop, which happens to be a Microsoft first-party game. Going to be a great game, but that's about it. And I think people have reserved themselves to understand that that's where we're at, just like Pong said. So would you agree with it? It's more about what do we look like after this holiday going forward?
I think it's going to be completely about optics, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I think they're just going to get out there and they're going to get people hyped.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to see, like Pong said, we're going to see any huge holiday releases. Maybe they'll surprise us with one, game, but I think they're going to come out there and just get people hyped. They're going to play the hype game. And Sony's used to be really good at that. And they've had a quiet couple of years, and we've also had, a pandemic and shit's been weird everywhere. But the change of how the two companies were prepared going into this gen is almost a role reversal of 2013, and I feel like I'm a huge Sony fan, and I used to get shit because I buy a Sony console, and all my friends played on Xbox, and I'm like, guys, you're missing out, right? There's some good games that only come out, on a PlayStation, and they give me shit. Nobody plays on PlayStation, and I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm a huge PlayStation fan. I want to be hyped. I want to be able to put dates on my calendars. I want to be able to pre-order stuff. I'm huge into the hype game just to be excited about it. And I think it's going to be about optics. I think it's going to be about setting the expectations, right, going forward into the next year, and just making people get that faith back in the brand. I don't know what happened. I mean, we're in speculation town, right? So, I mean, I don't know what happened, but it definitely the launch was a little chaotic, and I feel like the Xbox launch this time around just panned out a little better for him. Just seemed smoother. The optics were better, right? I'm sure it was chaos on both ends to get these systems out, but yeah, I just want a reason to be excited. And I think that's what they want to give the players, right?
Yeah.
They want them to be excited, to give them, you got to be excited. You got to be more excited because now you're paying a little more for their games, right? So, I mean, excite me, right? I want a premium excitement package, with this showcase. And it is a showcase. It's not a state of play, which just sounds boring and always has. So excite me, Sony, and I hope they do, and I think they will. Like I do believe there is zero chance of them not not
Yeah,
having a good show. They need to have a good show. Like they just need to have something there beyond
Because
Deathloop, beyond director's cuts. You know.
on top of the fact that we don't know if, I mean, the only show after this is what, TGS and maybe a video game awards. So I mean, how many times before next year are you going to get to do this?
Right. This
Are
is
you going to
it.
get to be
This is game
so
time.
so this is it. I mean, as far as we know, I mean, they could do a I don't know, a PSX or something. I don't know, but I mean, it's a little late in the year, to do something like that. They've done it before, but who knows? So this may be their only show, their only Sony related show for the entire rest of the year. So you have to show up and show out. And I think that they're going to do that. I think they're going to do a great job. The Twitter streets are going to be on fucking fire. I know it is, but it's going to be fun. That's what we all do this for. It's going to be extremely fun. So let's move on to the last topic. That was a good one.
One
go
last
ahead,
thing
go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Possibly Blue Point. I don't know if anybody touched on Blue
Oh,
Point.
yeah. We didn't touch on that acquisition.
Yeah, I said I
Oh, you
I
did,
think they're
you
working
did,
on the
okay.
Metal Gear Solid remake.
okay. Sorry.
That's the only
Sorry.
time I touched on Blue Point. Yeah.
Oh.
I know you made mention of Bloodborne. I
Yeah.
totally missed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay, Fuzz.
Yeah. But no, Blue Point.
Do you think they're working on it too, Fuzz? Blue Point?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, and even an acquisition as well, that would be nice because it makes sense. I mean, everybody been talking about it. But we'll see. But let's go ahead and keep things moving, man. We got the last topic. We're gonna be talking a little bit about Xbox and TGS. Now, I know Aaron Greenberg already came out and said, look, try to set expectations. This is more something that's going to be regional. We all understand it's for, the Japanese market, but it still excites me because the trickle down still benefits us. Even if the things they show or that happen at TGS aren't directly related to us, we're not going to directly benefit from it. But at some point, the trickle down works. And I the one thing I want to bring up before we start with you, K-Man, is that I just love seeing Phil working over there. I love seeing Xbox not giving up. Like, to me, it's a noble thing, and they're doing the best they possibly can to penetrate that market and really do something special over there that Xbox has never been able to do. So I do greatly appreciate the effort, and whatever we get out of TGS from Xbox, I'm excited for it. I'd like to see just a couple, maybe some games that don't traditionally go to Xbox actually be on Xbox, Persona, stuff like that. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but things like that. No, and so where you at? Even with the expectations and Aaron Greenberg already coming out saying, it's going to be what it is. So, I mean, what do you just think about TGS in general, Xbox being there?
I think it's fantastic, and I've seen some proof of, with pictures and articles about the Xbox, becoming more of a thing in that market. Like people are actually seeking them out and kind of wanting to experience it as kind of a yin yang to their PlayStation affinity over there. So that's super cool. And I think it's noble because it's not they haven't done well in that market.
No.
They just never have.
Yeah.
But they do want to expand, and you see them trying to get into different countries, and you see them trying to get xCloud, rolled out to different places. So I think this is part of that bigger picture, right? Even if they don't even if they don't infiltrate the market with their consoles, maybe they make their services available, and if like I think is going to happen, if Aaron Greenberg comes out there and unzips himself and Hideo comes out of him, with an exclusive Xbox Kojima game, then it'll be all worth it, because that's totally what's going to happen. I think it's all a ruse, man. He just wants to set the expectations low. Greenberg's going to pop out of a cake, but it's not really Greenberg, or maybe it's Phil, inside Greenberg, and then Kojima inside Phil. It could definitely be.
We're still in
something like
speculation town now. Okay, all right. We never left. I like this.
I
All
don't know
right,
if
keep
this is
going.
part
I
of
like
the
each
this.
other at the
Speculation
Tokyo Game Show. I gotta definitely take the day off at work for this.
Yeah, they're
Sounds like
just
a
gonna keep.
circus.
It's gonna be one of those little dolls, the little Russian
the Russian
dolls,
dolls,
just
yeah.
peeling away layers. But I have no expectations. I think it's to me, it's gonna be like a goodwill deal. They show off kind of what they're about, and maybe give whatever. I'm not in that market, right? So what excites me doesn't excite them. And it's a different gaming culture there. So I don't know. Like it's literally foreign to me, both metaphorically and literally. And I don't know what would excite me to see, Xbox reveal as a gamer in Japan. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that I'm kind of looking at this from those optics as well. Okay, man, me and Fuzz were talking about this last night as well. That you know, I think we'll still benefit, because I mean anything that happens over there, whether it be a partnership or somebody making a game for Xbox exclusively, or just be maybe a game that's not usually on Xbox. Say, hey, we're gonna be on Xbox now. That works for me. Like I'm cool with that. Like more of those types of games on Xbox and the ecosystem works for everybody. Now do we get to play those games? Maybe they're just exclusive to that market. Who knows? But I just love to see the effort, and I think that matters to me. And I know people it's easy to be like, well, what's the point? Like they might as well not even do anything. But it's the effort. It's the idea that they can make things happen over there, and they have been. If you look at the numbers, I know they're not like blowing shit out of the water, but it's promising. What they've been doing over there is definitely promising. Phil believes in Japan. He really thinks, and I don't know if you can back me up on this one, K-Man. He really feels like he can make an impact over there. He really wants that Japanese market. He said it over and over and over again that he wants that.
Oh,
market.
he has. And I don't know if he's either really optimistic or really delusional, right? But I mean, the company's got money, the company's got reach. Why not? Right. I mean, all it takes is some effort from certain people and a little extra money, which Microsoft, shits out on a daily basis. And if they capture something, they grab onto something and they make just an inroad on anything, even like something like Persona, right? That
Yeah.
something Xbox exclusive like that's huge there. That could be a console seller, that could be a service seller, Game Pass seller. It could more people playing, more engagement, more money for Microsoft. It's a win-win. I don't see an issue. I don't see it taken away from the U.S. market.
Yeah.
That's still their primary bread and butter. So what does it hurt, right? It is. It's a little handshake, right? It's a little dog and pony show for them. But I keep thinking, they're crawling in there. They're making. They're making a little bit of headway. They're not going to dethrone Sony and Nintendo over there.
I mean, unless we get an exclusive Pokemon game,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a good gesture.
Yeah. So, okay. No, I agree 100%. I really do. To me, it's more about the effort, in that territory for me and what they're doing. So we're going to throw this over to you, Fuzz. I know we talked about this. We have like the last week or so, me and you personally. Just where you at on Xbox and TGS?
I'm figuring it's going to be mainly like things pertaining to the region. I don't have as much insight as I would probably like to, as far as what would be like a highlight or spotlight for that area. But I keep thinking all the trips that Phil has made over to Japan over the recent years, and meeting with some of the studios out there and some of the creators out there, I still have this gut feeling. I've probably been saying it for 4 years now, that we're going to get something along the lines of a Ninja Gaiden, like a new or a reboot. Or I know they just did the remasters not too long ago, but I get the feeling that there's a new Ninja Gaiden in the works. I don't know if it gets announced now, but just feel that that's something that they're looking into. As far as with Kojima, I'm figuring the long game is to unveil the game at the Video Game Awards, but I could definitely see at least the announcement of a partnership or something in the works. So that in that area with Kojima, he's still their I guess you could say like prodigal son as far as development, and has a wide reach, not just there but also here. It announcing at least a partnership or at least a project in the works would definitely be a worthwhile announcement there. But it's tough to say beyond that. I know some others have said maybe the focus will be on like some regional stuff as far as like the language and utility as far as for the menus and such. Getting updates, getting also like K-Man had said, with more of the services out there, because I don't know. I know in Japan they have Game Pass, but there are certain regions not too far outside of that. Like I think South Korea got Game Pass not too long ago, like 10 months ago or so. But there's still a lot of regions out there that do not have it or don't have the localization up to par. And I know Jez, keeps pointing that out, and hopefully the Xbox team takes notice so they can get that resolved for their potential customers out there. And then I think there was like the highlight with Flight Simulator, but I think that happened a while back where they did the update on the resolution on some of the structures out in Japan and things like that. So I don't know if they're going to have anything additional in that regard, but definitely hoping for Ninja Gaiden. Wouldn't mind seeing the potential Kojima partnership or game in the works being announced. But that's kind of all I can kind of speculate at this point, just because it's Aaron Greenberg kind of set the pace or set the tone, and I don't want to get too, I guess, enthused just yet until the show is already in the works type of thing.
Okay, no, that makes sense. And another thing, I know none of us, I don't think K May mentioned it or you Fuzz, xCloud is big over there too. That's going to be a big focus as well. xCloud, obviously, solidifying, that market understands that this is coming. This is a big deal. This is only available on Xbox and that type of stuff. So them emphasizing xCloud, I think that's going to be a big point of emphasis for them. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. Just get your opinion, man, on Xbox and TGS, brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think Aaron's being generous here with setting the expectations. And I think that if there was any chance of something like a Kojima announcement, I don't think he would have come out and said what he said, knowing that Kojima, unless, I mean, they have done it in the past. But I have this feeling. Look, last year at TGS, what did we get? We got Minecraft, and I think we got Balan Wonderworld. So we got a huge Minecraft blowout because it's gigantic over there. Like K-Med was saying, hey, some of the stuff that I may not be interested in is totally different over in that side of the world. And that's true. I think we could still. I'm like you, though, PTK. I do get excited for this stuff, especially as Xbox tries to expand its worldwide market more and more, which we know they have been actively doing, but they're going to be speeding up this process more and more. Now that they got the new consoles out there, they have seen some success over there. And I think Fuzzy did a great job by calling it the region. We can't think of TGS any longer as just Japan. It's already been confirmed. They've got Chinese developers there. They got South Korean developers there. It's the region in general, because that's, when they talk about the 2 billion people they want to reach, you got to think about the region, because it's, Japan is just tiny compared to the rest of it. And I think that's why this is so important. I think the indie scene over there is blowing up big time. We have seen, Black Myth Wukong, Pearl Abyss and what they're doing in South Korea.
Doki V.
Yeah, exactly. Doki V. Exactly. Surprise of the show, right? Again, that kind of stuff is coming out of small. Pearl Abyss isn't small. I'm not going to put that in there. But, Black Myth Wukong, small team. Former Tencent developers, right? We see, these type of games that are coming out across the entire world from developers that seemingly come out of nowhere. This is the time that Xbox has to make its presence known and has to grab a hold. This is their big shot. They've tried this in the past. You're absolutely correct. But in the past, it was pretty much Japan specific. Japan was such a large market at the time and such an important market at the time. And not that they're still not, because of the history. And Phil has a great appreciation for the history of the industry. And there's still some gigantic development houses over there, right? But at the same time, now it's about the entire region. including South Korea, including China, even including India and places like that, where the next big games, the next new fresh developer faces, we're not just going to see them from the West or from just Japan anymore. We're going to see them out of all these countries we don't necessarily think of right away. So that's why it's so important that Xbox continues to drive home the point they are here to stay. They're not abandoning that area by any stretch of the imagination. Phil wants to dominate that area. And even if people want to laugh at him, he does not care. That's what he wants. And you hit on it too, PTK, with xCloud. xCloud is going to be the main driving force. xCloud combined with Game Pass is the vehicle over there that's going to get Xbox in there. And with these chip shortages, now we've just saw articles late yesterday talking about 2023.
Yeah.
Guess what? xCloud becomes even more important to the world. Because if people can't get a hold of consoles, well, guess what? Even if you got an older console, you're going to be able to stream at the end of this year. You're going to be able to stream Gen 9 games. So xCloud is going to become huge. And I think it's vital that they continue to make this push over there. So this TGS could definitely come out. We could come out of this TGS with some little golden nuggets. I don't think we're going to have any huge diamond finds. I don't think there's going to be anything gigantic announcement wise, whether it be, acquisition, whether it be Kojima. Kojima transcends, he's very important to that part of the world, but the Kojima announcement itself transcends a TGS.
That's
I think
some VGA type
that's
stuff.
a VGA. You give that to the Keeley, right? You make Keeley make that announcement. Okay. That's what you do. That's where you're going to have the eyes of the world. Kojima is worldwide. He, again, he's important in Japan. He's still an icon, but he's an icon worldwide as well. So therefore, that's why you don't put it at a TGS. It would be a big sign of respect if they chose to do that. And I would be like, well, that's surprising. But at the same time, I would be like, I get it. It would be a huge respect thing to have that on a TGS stage for sure. But at the same time, I just don't think it's going to happen. But I think we are definitely getting some gold nuggets out of here. Like I started saying, the indie side of things over there is exploding right now. And we already know how important the indies are to Xbox. The idea Xbox program is gigantic right now. They have done some absolutely incredible things. Game Pass is giving more exposure to these indie devs than ever before. They're really putting an emphasis on it. So I think at TGS, we might see some really cool little things come out of it that we weren't expecting, or that maybe are niche, that may not be mainstream. But for those of us that do love the eastern side of game development and, maybe grew up on JRPGs and that kind of stuff, we're going to go, dang, that's really cool. The biggest thing I can see coming out of that, and you hinted at it, PTK, would be an Atlas announcement that Sega finally has twisted Atlas's arm enough, and we get the Atlas catalog over on Xbox with Persona being obviously the main one that everybody would want to see. But they have an extremely well-rounded catalog of games that I would love to see come from Atlas over to Xbox, and I could see that kind of announcement being there. And again, it wouldn't be the biggest thing to a lot of people because there's a lot, again, Persona is not for everybody, but for those of us that have been waiting on it, it would be a huge deal and it would be exciting. So I keep my hopes up. I'm still excited. I'm not going to get overly hyped like they're going to have some major thing, but I think we definitely could see some cool stuff. So that's where I'm at with it.
Awesome. I agree. I 100% agree. I think the Persona thing makes sense for that type of show. It'll make a huge splash in the media in that region, since we want to use the right word.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you, Pong. I think you fall right in line with what I was saying. So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion, before we wrap the show up, brother. So where you at with Xbox at TGS? Any kind of expectations for you, Centurion, or you just kind of just sitting back for the ride?
I'm sitting back for the ride. I did not tune in last time. I think this is only like their second time though at the Tokyo Game Awards.
I think they were there last year, I believe, right? They were there last year.
But this is only
that was the Minecraft blowout.
Okay.
Yep. So that's where I'm wanting to tune in just to see if there's anything that piques my interest. I have been kind of dabbling a little bit in games from that part of the world. I've been playing Code Vein. Scarlet Nexus has my attention. Definitely want to tune in to see if there's anything that has my interest. everybody has said Kojima this time around, so I might as well also talk about Kojima too. Pong, I think, hit the nail on the head. That's the only thing I could see that would be like earth shattering that they could do there, where Kojima comes out and starts talking about something he's doing with Xbox. But again, like Pong said, that would be more like a video game awards thing. So don't know exactly what they're going to show me, but I'm just very curious at exactly what is going to be shown there. I mean, Aaron Greenberg is obviously telling us to keep expectations in check, but it's also not, from what I've heard, it's also not going to be a horrible show either. So I'm definitely looking forward to tuning in.
No,
That's
I agree.
pretty much where I'm at on it. I mean, I don't even I've heard of Persona, never played it. Always stared at the box, flipped it over every time. I don't know what Persona is about, and some of the other games that were mentioned. And this is why I guess I want to tune into this show to see if there's anything that maybe I'd be like, I want to check that out.
Yeah, and I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think they even got I think the show is their portion is like an hour. They got quite a bit of time. I think I can't remember.
Yes,
it's like an hour, so they got a full hour. So it's pretty lengthy. Now, I'm sure it's going to be a bunch of talking. I'm sure there's going to be dev breakdowns and things like that. I'm sure them talking and discussing xCloud and giving examples and seeing But that's a pretty lengthy amount of time. So who knows what will happen? But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up on that one, everyone. This was a fantastic show. We had a fantastic first-time guest. You guys in the chat were fucking amazing as usual. Every single week you guys show up and show out. We greatly appreciate you guys. Once again, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. I did see some new faces in chat, so I greatly appreciate you guys coming, showing some love, showing our guest love as well. We had a phenomenal show. But let's go ahead and go around the panel here. Let everybody give their goodbyes and things like that before we head off for the weekend. Shout out to you first and foremost, K-Med. Man, love having you here. Super great conversation. I hope you enjoyed your time here, man. And if allowed, hopefully this won't be your last time on the Shop Podcast, because we definitely love to have you here again, brother.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Thank you so much again for, hitting me up and inviting me. I've been itching to get on a show with Pong, especially just to give him shit. So I was excited to see him on the
theme
panel.
Here. It's a running theme.
It has like 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, like Neo.
Yeah.
It's like a pastime. My Twitter handle's on the video here. It's 2 underscores, K__med. And I do the TBC cast, the Backlog Chronicles, with my friends Mo, Mike, and Jordan on Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we kind of have a show like you guys do. We just capture the news of the week and try to break it down. And if you like this show, which I like, you may very well like the Backlog Chronicles. Although we're trying to figure out how to actually integrate our backlog into the show, because everything becomes the backlog. I don't know. We'll figure something out eventually. But thank you so much for having me, PTK. I appreciate it, and I would love to come on again at some point.
Awesome, man. We're gonna have to get all you guys on here, Mo, everybody, man. So you can send them a pigeon if you'd like, because they're probably gonna get a message from me at some point soon. So shout out to all of you guys over there at the Backlog Chronicles. You guys are amazing. Once again, everybody, all that information for K-Med specifically, as well as the Backlog Chronicles, is down in the description below. So please do us a favor, do me a favor. If you're a fan of the show, go check out what they got going on. We love to show love, spread support. And I want to do something real quick before I get to my guys, because there was a couple super chats that I missed. I know one was from Forte. He said, haven't been here in a while, but had to show love to one of the first podcasts to give me a voice. More people need to lead by example, like PTK and Fuzzy. Thank you, Forte. I appreciate you. That's my guy. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. And then I think Victor asked a question. We'll get to this one next week, Vic. I'll hold on to this. I'll make sure I write it down, and we'll throw it in next week to make sure we get to it, brother. But I appreciate the $5 super chat. You always here, man. Thank you so much, man. But I'll make sure I write it down just so that we don't forget about it, brother. So thank you. But once again, K-Med, you're amazing. Glad you had fun, man. And hopefully we see you and some of the other gentlemen from the Backlog Chronicles on here as well very soon, man. You guys are all awesome. Man. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get to my compadres here. So we'll start with you, Centurion. Always here. Appreciate you, brother. Let everybody know what you got cooking up with the channel and anything coming down the pipeline.
Well, man, it's been a great Saturday night. It was nice meeting you, K-Med. Yes, I always got things cooking up in this crazy head of mine. Fanboy recently kind of touched on the Halo co-op thing. Had a little bit of fun with that. Now we're starting to dig into other stuff. I do actually have an article coming out on a website. I don't have it locked in yet, but I have been picking up writing again. So that's actually something I'm excited about. Also hoping to do something on Stray Blade. Have you guys heard anything about that game? That was actually shown recently here.
Oh, no, I haven't.
So yeah, I want to know more about Stray Blade.
Mhm.
And then finally, I got, I don't know if you checked it out, but we got to have an awesome interview with 12 Minutes director.
I saw that.
Yes, that was a fun one. And so that's kind of pretty much what I've been able to do. So for those of you that do want to check it out, check me out at Centurion1307 at YouTube, Xbox Live, and Twitter. If you want to check out the interview that was mentioned, that's on the TXR podcast that you will find me every Sunday night. And you will find me right here every Saturday night with these amazing individuals that are like a second family to me right here on the Shop Podcast.
We appreciate you, bro, and I'm sure Chad appreciates you too, man. So make sure we show Centurion love. Go visit the channel. Go hit the like button, subscribe, man. If you got some good content, man, been dropping some vids lately for sure. So, man, you guys gotta go check it out. But let's go ahead and move on to Pong Harvey, man. Guy all over the place, man. But we appreciate you, Pong. Let everybody know what you got cooking up, man.
Absolutely, of course, man. No, great show, brothers. Fantastic as always. Man, great to finally do a show with you as well. Even if you just came here to give me a hard time, I still appreciate you coming through. No, man, I love your thoughts. Love what you guys are doing over there. So again, it was an honor to be on with you. So this was the way to end a Saturday night. Again, gamers are winning. It is the golden age of gaming, the best time to be a gamer. I will keep saying that until you all are sick of it, and then beyond that, because I truly mean it. Again, not everybody's been around as long as I have been in this gaming space, and I can't believe what we are getting right now and seeing. So love you all. Chat, you guys are absolutely freaking amazing. See the familiar faces come through each and every week on all the shows that I'm on is just, it's heartwarming. So again, nothing but love and respect to all of you. You can find me Pong Soul, Xbox, obviously Twitter, and then you know the drill. Tuesdays, Xbox Factor podcast over on Mr. Boomstick's channel, Double Barrel Gaming, with Boom Zemi 3-bit, the VGHD, and myself. And you never know who else is going to show up. Mav, Fun Speculation has been showing up as well. Come see us Tuesdays, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate. With the family, my extended family over there, the Magnificent Seven, Fun Speculation, his amazing wife, Caitlin, and the rest of the crew, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. And then Saturday mornings, my brother from another, Steel Rain, and myself, we just wrapped up episode 23 this morning, another 3-hour just blast. Again, wake up every Saturday morning, just so excited to get to talk with him. And we love to talk. We get it done Saturday mornings. You wake up, just sit down, listen to us, do your chores. We don't care. Just drop on by. Living Split Screen, all one word. That is 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time. And then you guys will see me right back here next Saturday night on the Shop Podcast. Man, it's been great. Get out there. It's a nice extended weekend for a lot of us who get that extra day. Go play some games. Play what you love what you play. Enjoy this time. Leave the BS alone for all the clowns. Don't worry about that stuff. Just enjoy what we got right now because, again, it's a special time to be a gamer. So love you all, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, so we got Back just slid in here. What's up, Back? How you doing, brother? But you're gonna have to catch the link after the show, man. You're gonna have to rewatch it for sure, man. But I appreciate you sliding through. But yeah, Pong for sure. This is my guy, man. I told you, superstar. I said it from the first time I met him. I love your energy, bro. Big reason why we do things that we do here, man. You give me that energy, so I greatly appreciate you every week, man. Once again, go check out Pong. All his information down in the description below as well. Twitter, all of that. Just go to Twitter because you're going to be able to find all the links there. So it's probably the easiest thing for most people to do. And last but not least, this is how we smooth things out. So bring out the good wine, the smoking jacket, your loafers, Crocs, whatever you decide to wear, whatever's comfortable. Fuzz, what's going on, man? Wrap this thing up, bro.
This was an awesome show. It was great having you on here, K-Med. Awesome topics and everything. Great chopping it up with you as far as our favorite hobby, gaming. Definitely look forward to having you and the rest of your crew at some point on here. It was awesome. The chat always awesome. It was great having you guys, interact with us here, listening to us and posing questions and just the chat in general. It was awesome today. And as always, my brothers, my family outside of my house, you guys are always awesome. Blam, Pong, Centurion, and shout out to Stag.
For sure.
You guys are always great as far as just discussing my favorite hobby, gaming. I can't say it anymore. It's just always a good time coming here on Saturday nights. And if you want to hear my random thoughts on the internet, you can always find me at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Same thing on PSN, Fuzzy_Belvedere, or catch me on Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere. Typically playing racing games, but I'm trying to play a lot of the later games. Played Psychonauts and Ratchet and Clank as of late, so definitely just enjoying my time gaming.
Awesome. So shout out to you, Fuzz, as well, man. Appreciate you here, man. Thank you guys so much. And last but not least, the host with the most here, PTK Blam. Hit me up on Xbox Live, Twitter as well. You guys have been amazing. Another hot poll of the week coming on Monday, so you guys check that out. We'll have another guest next week. Working hard, trying to make sure we keep this thing moving, but we got to do it with you guys, and you guys are always bringing the energy, and you guys really are the reason why we do this every Saturday. So thank you so much for the continued support. You guys are amazing. I want to echo what Pong said. Please go play some games. It's a long weekend. Do yourself a favor. Just enjoy what we got going. It's a great time to be a gamer. We're about to step into something incredible, and things are just getting started. Just tip of the iceberg. So shout out to all you guys. Like the video on the way out, like I said before. But we'll see you guys next week. Peace out, everyone. Please be safe this weekend. All right. Want to talk to you guys next week. Please be safe. Holla at you guys. Have a good one.